The thing that pisses me off is the fact that you can eliminate the idea of an entire race. That will never make sense to me.
Some races, unfortunately, in society are cooler than others, even though we all are like victims of racism or prejudice. The narrative was just turning on Arabs at that point, and it started being, oh, Dubai, oh, rich Arabs, oh, they're good looking. Then it was like a fetish for gay guys to get with someone who looked Arab, who was hairy, who had money.
I think a lot of straight men see femininity as a threat. I think it's an insecurity.
Oh my God.
Jord,
hey,
you're with us.
How are we?
Good.
So nice to finally meet you.
Oh my God, it's been like so long, hasn't it? I've really been anticipating this moment.
It's so exciting.
It's nice to see your faces in person.
Have you been a guest before on a podcast?
Audio, audio, yeah.
Okay.
Like not like visually. I find that like it's really interesting because like so many of my guests are podcasters themselves, and I always say to them like, don't think of this as like a tit for tat type of thing. But this is my first visual one, so how exciting.
Fun.
We took your virginity.
Oh my God.
I feel really special. I feel really delicate.
We'll look after you. Don't worry.
Be gentle with
gentle.
me.
So, welcome back to Avoiding My Actually Attached Boyfriend. I'm Faris, and this is my co-host.
Josh, Squishy, Joshy, whatever you want.
Call him whatever you want. And today we're very excited because we have a guest with us, Jord, the host of the Winning Side podcast.
Hello. How are we?
How are you?
Okay.
Oh, go on,
No, I was gonna go straight into it, but maybe
go on,
not.
go straight into it.
We went onto your podcast last
weekend, correct?
Last weekend.
Correct.
But we never asked you how you came up with the idea, why it's called The Winning Side, why you decided to get into podcasting in the first place, or the whole journey. So tell us.
It's been a journey for sure. Like when no one ever really asks me, so I'm thinking, oh, okay, I should have prepared. My initial idea was to create a passion project. I think as a person of colour, as a queer person of colour, you can be so frustrated and annoyed with how the world can be more times than not. And I thought, okay, how can I make my own contribution? You know, I wanted to do community work, but like COVID was being COVID, so I couldn't really do that.
Okay.
So then it was very much like, okay, this is like my alternative. And I don't know, I just found comfort in talking to people with shared experiences. And it's really funny because when I look back, I actually can't listen to like my first episodes because they're so like, no shade obviously to like the people I spoke to because big up you, but they can be quite robotic.
Yeah.
But obviously it comes with practice, doesn't it?
It takes time to know how to like...
Naturally, yeah. I mean, I'm still learning. As I'm sure you know as well, like it's always like a process. You're always progressing, like inevitably.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to make something for my people.
Yeah.
And we're still going. It's been, how long has it been? Just over 3 years. But I haven't been consistent for 3 years.
Right.
Like people will be like, how long have you been doing it? And I say, 3 years technically, but if I'm like taking into account my like serious mode, I'd probably say just under a year, where I've been like, right, okay, this needs to like make things happen. But so I wanted to call it initially the Minority Effect.
Okay.
But I thought that's a bit too much.
Why?
I don't know. Like I didn't want it to be like so in your face.
Okay.
And then I literally, is it synon? Is that the right word for like alternative words? Synonym?
Synonym.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that one. So I Googled that for I think it was like for minority or something like that. And somehow I came up with winning. I don't know how winning appeared.
Minorities are always winning.
Always winning.
To Google. And I just thought I want to change the narrative and say how like people who are like us, who are in these groups, can be winners. You know?
Has there been something or a common thread that you found between all of your guests being like a minority or people of colour, like certain topics which you've just seen everyone has a similar kind of view or experience or anything like that?
Not necessarily, but one thing I will say that is quite noticeable is that we have mutual respect for each other. That's the main thing that I find.
Yeah.
I don't think I could say that we've all had like a similar ground because we're just all so different.
Yeah.
You know? But I've seen podcasts where people are literally like shouting and barking at each other.
Yeah,
I go, this is a bit too much.
Yeah, let's chill.
Do you know what I mean? There's no need. That's not my energy. I'm quite tame. But I do I think what I've acknowledged and realised the most is the fact that no matter what we think or what we do, we have mutual love and respect for each other.
I want to hear about this, if you're comfortable talking
Go
about
ahead.
your
I have nothing to lose, unless the boys are watching.
your gay awakening, your coming out. When did you realise that you had feelings for the same sex?
I think a bit later than most queer men, because I've like, when I was younger, my friendship group was like, there was like 5 boys, 5 of us, right? But they just weren't like, and I love, where's the camera that they can pick up my face closer? Is it this one?
This one.
This one.
Guys, I mean this with love. I don't find them attractive.
Okay.
So, but in my head, I just thought, okay, I thought I was asexual for a really long time, like a really, really long time.
Okay.
And then I started meeting men who I fancied. I was like, oh wow, okay. I think the first crush I had, I was probably about 15. Okay, how do I? Yeah, a guy that was in close proximity to me at school quite a lot, and he reminded me a lot of a childhood friend. So I found a lot of comfort in him, and it's so interesting because I think at that age you can't always distinguish the difference between being really fond, because I'm obsessed with my friends. I'm literally obsessed with them. But I think you can't always distinguish the difference between being really, really fond of a friend at 15 or fancying them. And then like things started thinging and things started clicking. I was like, right, okay, cool. So I've never been super in denial, and I think that is what kept me sane for a really long time, because I've known people that have like had so much trauma, but I don't think my experiences are like that, like severely damaging. Like I don't have trauma. It's not something I think about regularly. There are moments where I think, oh, this was really shit, but it doesn't affect me on the day-to-day basis. But completely fine. My friends are the most wonderful people I know. So many of them are queer. It's really
cool.
It's really interesting because so many of them are queer, but they didn't come out, right? And I find it kind of frustrating in a sense. I say to them, like, guys, we were literally all going through this shit, but we didn't have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're all going through it separately?
Yeah. Literally internalized issues. I think there's about 4 or 5 of us. I think, why couldn't we talk about it?
Yeah.
We could have been the Heartstopper crew at school.
Yeah,
Do
literally.
you know what I mean? Yeah. But my friends are wonderful. I cannot complain at all. They are just, yeah, they've been great. And my parents have always been around queer people, so they're really good. There's never been anyone who's like super, super like ride or die close to me that's been like, oh, this doesn't work. Apart from my grandmother, but we never had that conversation. I think she just assumed.
Okay.
You know what grandparents can be like.
Yeah, and it's harder with the older generation as
100%. But I also think you've actually witnessed so much. So in a way, it kind of makes me think, surely older people, because they've seen so much happen, so much change, surely you should be the most understanding. But obviously, I'm not here to talk bad on old people. But, but it can be annoying. It really can be.
So what was the difficulties that you had in coming out? You said obviously there's some difficulties. Like what were the, like, did you like experience bullying or
was it internal within yourself? Like...
I mean, like I said to you last week, I think that was the situation with wanting children. I think that was a big contribution. I was a very camp child, like a very, very camp child. I actually think this is probably even though it's not really like mask, I actually think this is probably the most mask present I've ever been.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like internalized. I feel like I don't know if alter ego is the right term, but my true inner self is ridiculously flamboyant.
Yeah.
Really?
Why don't you let that go?
Yeah.
If you knew where I lived, you'd understand. But I think when I move here, I will switch up without a doubt. That's why I love going to queer events, because people just don't care.
Do you feel like you're holding back?
Somewhat.
You do? You feel that? Oh, that must be a bit heavy though.
You learn to adapt.
Okay.
You learn to adapt, and also like I'm aware of what is safe and what isn't. I've got some very flamboyant queer friends that are very they're very OTT, as they should be, and I see the shit they get, and I think I don't know if I'm at that point yet, but I want to be.
I get that.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We need to recognise how heteronormativity is still very prominent.
Yeah.
100%.
People get really pressed by it. I'm like, but I'm just being honest. Like,
yeah.
And I think even as straight people, they know that. And I think when they see queer people thriving, they see it as a threat.
Yeah.
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 Like they're going to take this away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally that.
I think that's the same with race as well. Like that kind of
agreed.
conversation is like, okay, if we let the oppressed have rights and and feel equal, it's like they're gonna do to us what we did to them vibes. Like,
it's like, no.
Even if
like,
sorry, Josh, go on.
No, I was just saying no.
Even if we'd like took over power for the next like hundreds and hundreds of years, it still wouldn't equate.
No.
It just wouldn't. It's not. We're not on the same level.
And we felt what it's done to us and the community. Like, there's no way you'd want to put that onto other people. It's so weird. Yeah. There was, just to add to what we were saying before, there was a few conversations that we've had about why straight men specifically have an issue with feminine gay guys. And I'm going to need help with this because I'll probably word it very wrong. But basically, they are scared for what they do to women. They see, like, I feel like gay men as like more feminine, more womanly. They're scared that the way that they treat women is the way that gay men
will treat
them. So that's why there's such a difference between how like masculine gay people or like lesbians that are more masculine, it's more kind of like accepted.
Yeah, agreed.
But femininity in anything is always like downtrodden.
Triggering,
yeah. So yeah, fun little.
I think a lot of pardon me. I think a lot of straight men see femininity as a threat.
Yeah.
Whether that's queer men or queer people in general or straight women.
Yeah.
I think a lot of straight men like to take control.
Yeah.
And they like to be dominant for multiple causes and reasons. And I think it's an insecurity.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and because when you say this, do you mean like masculine men in general, or just men over the board?
I think like masculinity in
general, yeah,
like kind of a synonym for men.
They kind of they see it as like an attack, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's my take.
I think so as well, and I always wonder, like, it's probably because they fight any femininity, any feminine traits or characteristics within themselves that it's a bit triggering for them to see someone who is a guy or however you identify as quite feminine. It's like, how dare you? Like, I've almost had to like hide this part of myself, or I can't show any of that side.
Well, it's weakness as well.
Exactly.
It's like seen as weakness, like crying, like all that. Like, it's not seen as like a strength. Yeah. And like we live in a masculine default society, which is like, that is the whole thing about that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I'll be honest. Like, even like just platonically, the men who I'm attracted to the most are men that have feminine traits. Like, I really like, not that I'm like obviously pro-masc, but if you're naturally accustomed to being masculine, you can't help that. But like, I really appreciate and acknowledge masculine men who can be vulnerable, who can have conversations, who don't fear away from talking about things which may make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like, I don't know, like not being like, mental health is like the biggest killer for like men under the age of like 40 in the UK or something like that. And that's because, and a lot of them because they don't feel comfortable enough to express how they're feeling. And I just think if we switched up, the world would be the UK, would be a better place.
Yeah, and the world, to be honest.
and the world. To be fair. I don't have the knowledge on the world as much as the UK. That was my spin on it.
How is your dating life since then? Like, how have you found?
What's dating like for you in general?
It sucks.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I feel like I just look pissed off all the time. So I'm not like the most approachable person.
Okay.
And I need to switch up really. But I just feel like if this is what I'm naturally like, why should I change for you? I don't know you.
Someone will like it.
Sorry.
100%.
I am 25. It's been 7 years since I've been out. So I'm thinking, maybe something needs to change. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's just not a priority to me.
Okay.
I'm so focused on like doing what I'm doing and like all the work I'm doing at the moment that it's just, I feel like if I prioritize a man or a relationship, I neglect my craft. And like, yeah, it just isn't a priority. However, if someone who like looked like Ncuti Gatwa came to me and was, oh, like, I'm in love with you, I'd be like, well, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Right now.
Fuck the podcast.
We can cancel that.
I want you.
It's not necessary.
Have you had any like fun, like embarrassing dating stories that are like, that you're happy to share?
Yeah, I mean, in dating stories, have you guys ever been to Breakfast Club?
No.
I think I've heard of it.
I've heard of it though. What is it? Like a brunch?
Like a brunch type of vibe.
Yeah.
I think there's one in London. I'm not sure where it is, but I used to go to uni at Oxford Brookes, right?
Okay.
So I lived in Oxford for 3 years. And I met this guy, right? And this is the first guy like properly liked. Well, sorry, that's not fair. Properly liked where the feeling was mutual.
Okay.
One of them, you can like a guy so much, but if it's not mutual, nothing's happening. Nothing's popping. And I was obsessed. I don't think I've ever been so obsessed with somebody.
Okay.
Big up him. And we went for a date at Breakfast Club, right? And I said to the waiter, I was like, can you please just take the mushrooms off? Like, I hate mushrooms. I do not, can we swear?
Yeah.
I don't fuck with mushrooms. Please take the mushrooms off. Like,
Okay.
Respectfully.
I can take them off.
Respectfully. Love you.
And he didn't. And I thought, I cannot look like a fussy eater on the first date. And these like mushrooms, they weren't even like grey. They were like as black as this microphone.
Okay.
They look burnt, to be honest. And I thought, you know what, just suck it up and have the fucking mushrooms. And I just couldn't swallow them. They were just disgusting. So I literally got the tissue, turned around and spat it into the tissue.
And he saw?
I mean, I still took him home, so it couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, he was like, ooh, I'm into this.
He's hot.
I actually like spitting rather than swallowing.
So,
Okay. What would you say your attachment style is?
without a doubt, avoidant.
I feel you.
We
That
are
is
like
me.
twins, Josh.
I feel like we are, you know.
Just that I'm Jamaican and you're African.
Literally, yeah.
Twins from
Two
different,
peas in a pod.
twins from different continents.
Literally.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah.
It can work. Science is incredible.
Yeah, exactly. the travel.
Literally.
You're avoidant. What makes you say avoidant?
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? I said this to you last week. I don't think I'm naturally avoidant. I think I've been shaped to be avoidant. So, like, I don't think I am naturally this way. I think the way I've been treated has turned me into an avoidant person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that what does that mean? Like, as in people not showing you love back, or as people like, how do you turn avoidant?
I mean, I feel like when I like someone, I give my all. I'm a love. I obviously, like, I try to act hard, but I am a lover boy. If I really like you, I will ride and die for you. Like, I really, really like you. And for me to give all that energy to somebody and then to still be fucked over, like, you're done. Do you know what I mean? So I think having that experience with the mushroom man is what made me like really pressed and really reluctant opening myself up to people. However, I do know that I need to switch up. And the guy after used to say to me, he was like, Jord, like, you act this way, you do this and that, and like the way you treat people just isn't right. And I was like, well, I appreciate you for vocalizing how you feel. And I'm very conscious of it, but it's hard to snap out of the pattern though.
Especially, and if there's been like times in your life where you've been hurt and then it's pushed you to be avoidant, like you can kind of see how it easily like tips into that.
Yeah.
Like it's avoidant is a way of protecting yourself before you get hurt. Like if you cut things off, if you don't let it go too far, if you like your alone space is because you're happy within your, not even happy within yourself, but you find comfort in your independence, being by yourself. That's like, if I ever open up to this person, it could hurt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I'm trying to like switch up the narrative and kind of tell myself this person has done nothing to make me feel that type of way yet.
Exactly.
I'm trying not to hold on to past experiences to make it shape what happens next.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
How do you look after your mental health in general?
Sleep.
Sleep.
God, that was so dark. Sorry. Sleeping. I read a lot. Reading's really helped me.
What kind of genre?
I like everything, you know. I'm really like, I just find reviews and go from there. I'm currently reading Jordan Stevens' book. You know, the guy from Rizzle Kicks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an autobiography kind of thing.
Not really. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it. He's basically talking about his experiences and how it's like shaped his mental health and his relationships. So I wouldn't go as far as an autobiography because it's not like a life story.
Okay.
But it is about like his own experiences and how it affects this and that.
Got you.
Because
Okay.
he struggled a lot, didn't he?
Yeah. Diagnosed with ADHD twice because he was in denial the first time he got diagnosed.
Really?
Oh. Wait, so he went and got diagnosed again?
Apparently so. I haven't got that far in the book, but I was watching some interviews and that's what he said.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Disclaimer. I don't know if I can say this, but we can confirm later on. I might be interviewing him next Saturday.
Actually, that's
On your podcast?
No, so he's at the Literature Festival. And basically what happens is press give me a list of who's available, right? And they just say, who do you want to talk to? And it was like loads of random people like Judi Dench, Pam from like Gavin and Stacey, Miranda Hart.
Gavla? No, that's the wrong one.
no, isn't that Pam?
Yeah? Is it?
Oh no,
That's Sniffy.
That's Sniffy.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
She's a
But
fake veggie.
Yeah.
I hear it. But
Judi Dench.
the thing is that
To
you
be in
have
a room with that girl.
incredible
woman.
for sure, but you have to read that book. And it's not convincing that a 25-year-old has read her book.
Read it this week. Just
Or
do it
listen
for
to
us.
Audible.
Do it for
The
us.
thing is that I would write, but I've got my reading list for this week is so heavy already before it. But if I find the time, maybe I'll find a Kindle version.
Yeah.
But yeah, so press were like, who do you want to talk to? And I was like, oh, Jordan Stevens. Did you read Yellowface?
Oh no, but I've heard about
Yeah.
her.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
And an influencer called Tamko.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really popular. So they're on my list. But I was like, listen, if you can only get me one person, please let it be Jordan Stevens. But he's doing 2 talks, one on Friday, one on Saturday. Okay. So on Friday, if he hasn't responded or the team hasn't responded, I'm going to go to the VIP room and just be like, look, can I talk to you for half an hour? I can't mention this bit, but let me tell you quickly because I want to tell you guys.
Jord, this is so fun.
I was like, what the hell?
Sorry to interrupt this episode, but just a quick reminder, it would be really, really helpful if you do subscribe, because otherwise we don't get paid. But no, seriously, if you subscribe, then you'll get notified when we have new episodes and new videos. And if you follow and hit the bell, then you just won't miss out on any fun conversations. So make sure you do, and thank you for watching. So you cover, on your podcast, you cover a lot of different topics. Mm-hmm. Mostly, I would say, well, it's not, would you consider it an LGBTQ plus podcast? Or
I would now, yeah.
You would now, okay. But before, you said it started for the winning side as, you know, the minority side.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was more BLM focused.
Okay.
But it's just so heavy. And I really appreciate people that can do that on the dot non-stop.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where it's like, you need to like, in order to protect my well-being, it just needed to switch up. I was like, I either have to stop or think of something different, you know? Yeah. And queerness can be quite lighthearted, like in like the stuff we go through, like the dates we've gone on, like seeing like 4 inches, like oh, PTSD, God forbid.
Has that happened to you?
Not. Do you know what? Yeah, I don't want to body shame anybody. Okay. I feel like everyone is beautiful to somebody. I've seen. Do you know what? To be fair, I've actually seen more big than not. Okay, I've seen more big than not. But like sometimes it's like too big, and I'm like, what the hell? Like,
what are you meant to do with that? Like you can't.
It's like a sword. Sorry, like I met this one guy, and he was like such a nice guy, very catering, very polite, and honestly, it was like a third leg. I said to him, I was like, look, I'm sorry, like it can just stay there.
Yeah,
have fun with it.
Like, we're just gonna.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Like the size queens, I think they're lying. I just don't understand how anything more than like even like 7 is enjoyable. So sorry.
No, I feel you.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. Like I don't mess with it, sorry.
Yeah.
But do you know what's interesting about that though is like as gay people, where do you learn this stuff from? Do you know what I mean? Like where are we learning that? I feel like if
porn.
I think
that is where we're learning. We're learning that like you have to be a power bottom and a power top and you need to be able to take it all the way and enjoy it. Like and if you're not, then there's something wrong with you. Like I feel like there's definitely a look in porn of
Well, it's like it's glamorized though, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a sense. But then
what's your view on porn?
I mean, I don't really consume it, to be honest with you. I did a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
Oh my God, let me tell you this story. I remember this one time, and this is, I don't know if my mum knows this. I remember like when I was like not out at like 14, I watched so much excessive porn, it actually broke my computer.
Actually,
that happened to me as well. I'll do the story after. Yeah.
And I remember like, obviously my mum's boyfriend is very like whiz tech, right? And I remember him like trying to investigate. And in my head I was like, oh my God, please.
No,
please don't let the gay porn pop up, please. I remember I had hiccups at the time. And I remember my mum's boyfriend saying to me, oh, there's a really impressive list of porn sites on this browser. And like, but he only did it to make my hiccup stop. There was nothing, but he didn't actually see anything.
Okay, that's good.
I see. I right to scare you. Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, you crazy little horny 13, 14-year-old.
Yeah. Oh my
but you
God.
don't consume it now?
Very rarely.
Is that for a reason or just naturally?
Do you know what it is though? But when I have the time to myself, I'm so tired. I'm like, right, okay. And next minute it's like 10 a.m.
Sorry,
not that late. More like 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
8,
Yeah.
But I'm not anti it. Obviously, there's a lot of things with porn that can be a bit funny from what I've read. But not like opposed to it. It's just not naturally in my routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting topic, I think, porn in the gay community. But I don't know how I feel about porn. I don't know if it is a good thing to like consume, especially at the ages for gay people specifically, if that's how we're picking up to learn things, and because it's not in schools, it's not really anywhere else, and you might not be comfortable to talk about your family at that age, so you're learning a lot from porn. And straight boys specifically learn a lot from porn and make mistakes, and they have all the other education, so I'm a bit more like,
yeah, and they also have like you said, they have the additional resources. But like, I'm not being funny. I remember being in sex ed and I thought, this just isn't useful to me.
Yeah.
I was like, how am I gonna I remember like not like knowing how to lube, because how would you fucking know if no one fucking tells you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I remember like the first guy I got with, big up him, and I had literally no clue what I was doing at all. I literally just made it up as I went along. I literally just there like lying like this and just thinking, okay, hee hee ha ha.
it's gonna be fun.
But literally like having like no clue at all, you know. And I think it would be so monumental to have sex ed for queer people.
Yeah.
We're making it up, aren't we?
Yeah, it's so different as well to like straight relationships.
Yeah.
Like, to know, and there's so much that goes into it that I definitely feel it should be taught in schools.
Yeah.
Because it's also a bit of a danger not to as well, for like the way your body works, and like you can get in a lot of pain from not knowing.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I know.
I felt that.
I remember. Yeah, I've had like times where I like had minimal knowledge, and I remember like having like days thinking, oh, "Fuck, I'm in so much pain. How is this enjoyable? This is meant to be fun." And I have like, I didn't have that many gay friends, but I had a couple that were slightly older with more experience. I remember them being like, "Oh my God, it's the best thing ever." And I was like, "Well, who are you going to?" Because I'm like in pain from like head to toe.
Help!
I don't want to do this anymore.
You know what I mean? Like maybe I just need to stitch myself up.
That might be painful.
It can't be as painful as what I was going through prior. Honestly.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Big up lube. Big up lube. Come on.
I want to learn about your lingo.
Right.
Yeah, this could be the game.
Because the fun thing when we first spoke, and I remember when I first heard you say camp, I was like, is he saying that's camp? Like, is he saying that's too gay? And then you said it again, and I'm like, wait,
no,
he's using that as if it's like, what's another word that could replace that? It means like
slay.
Slay, like this is good, this is sick, right?
Yeah.
Give it in context so our visuals and audios know exactly what it is.
Yeah. And then afterwards, I want you to go through the lingo that you know, because we're a bit old.
Yeah.
Let me try and like rewire my brain.
And then we'll see if we know it or not. Because you're Gen Z, right?
Only just.
Okay.
Guys,
on the cusp.
The later end of Gen Z. Okay, well, like, my favourite singer is Ariana Grande.
Okay.
I would die for that woman. Actually, a bit too much, but I really love her.
Yeah.
And if a guy was to say to me, "Oh, like I love Ariana Grande," I'd be like, "Oh my God, that's so camp."
Right.
So camp.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so, your hair's so camp.
Yeah.
Can I say it like that, or does it have to be like a better thing?
I guess it kind of works.
Because that could be miscommunicated.
Camp's more like a response. So like my friend, we went for dinner not too long ago, and I can't remember. I basically corrected the waiting staff and said, "Oh, like they would like this, right?" And I said to my friend, I was like, because I think they're they, he, right? So I was like, "Do you mind? Have you got a preference?" And they were like, "I don't mind. It's neutral, but that's camp."
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I get that.
One of them.
That's camp. You're like, oh, I really enjoy nights out. I'm like, that's camp. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're with the lingo, Faris.
I
Come
know.
on.
Yeah,
so
he knows
cool.
it.
I'm so cool.
You're basically Gen Z.
I know. Just like 10 years too late.
Yeah.
What other lingo do you have? Or can you think of anything else that you and your friends use?
Oh my God. Camp, slay, purr.
Yeah, purr. That's another one. Did you know this?
Purr.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What's that for?
Purr is like...
That's good, no? Or like... It's another word for like sick.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you roll your R's? Are you meant to roll
I can't.
them?
I'm not too sure. I just kind of make it up. Maybe.
It sounds Scottish when you did that. What has your experience been like dating as a person of colour in the community? Like, have you dated
Sorry, I
white
shouldn't
people, or have you dated
it
people
used to
who aren't
literally
like
white-
mixed or black?
Sorry, it used to be literally white or nothing.
Interesting.
Which
Okay.
is like not the case, as you would know, it just isn't the case now
Yeah.
at all.
Is it because of your area and where you were?
It was, yeah, and I just think like it felt like every like person of color wanted to date a white man, so it kind of felt like I don't have a choice anyway.
Right.
Interesting.
Like it was almost like, oh, white is right, and because my
So savage, yeah.
that's genuinely what it felt like. And interracialism is a beautiful thing. Like we are all creation, all three of us are creations of interracial relationships.
Yeah,
So we can't
yeah.
slate it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of had next to no choice really. But it's not like, but the people they were okay. I think fetishism is very prominent.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had that, Josh? Or all you, Faris, to be fair, have either of you had that?
Like, when I look back at the time, maybe I didn't realize, but there was always a thing which maybe I didn't understand what it was properly, but there was something in me that kind of knew. Because I'd always have a question like, do you only date black and mixed people then?
Yeah,
like I was always a bit cautious, but I
that.
didn't know where it came
I asked
from.
that.
It's just a feeling,
Yeah.
kind of, I think.
How do people take it when you ask that question?
They get really offended. And if they get offended, they're like, okay, well, if they get offended, I know what it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
Because why would you be? And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with having a preference.
Yeah.
I personally think preferences are fine. The thing that pisses me off is the fact that you can, like, eliminate the idea of an entire race. That will never make sense to me. I've spoken about this so much.
Yeah,
I've pissed
I get
off
that.
so many people, like people in my close circle saying this. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I just think, how can you ignore the fact of like dating every person in one group?
Yeah.
How will that ever make sense? You know, like I do have a preference for like black and mixed people. But that's because of my culture.
Yeah.
But if my soulmate isn't in that group, that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
It's to be open
Yeah,
to
100%.
it and not just because you're this, I will
'Cause
go with this.
Yeah, because I have some black friends that won't date anyone who isn't black. Which I kind of understand because we are marginalised, so it somewhat
It's more
makes a bit
understandable,
more
yeah.
sense. But I'm like, but you're telling me if you met like a beautiful white man, you'd be like,
I guess it's like a whole cultural understanding and stuff.
it makes sense. I completely get it. I
Yeah.
just feel like we need to all be a bit more like
yeah.
open-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
get that.
I completely, like, and I've said this to you before, like, I completely get that. I've never had a race in mind when
Yeah.
I'm dating, and I've never cared or found a specific race.
If you're fit, you're fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or if
Yeah.
you got a connection, you got a connection.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I don't really get that. But back to like fetishes, I've definitely had that.
Yeah.
From like people that are like into Arab guys or into like hair or something like that. And I think I didn't really know it too much at the time because also it depends what race you're from. Some races, unfortunately, in society are cooler than others, even though we all are like, you know, victims of racism or prejudice. But there's certain like people and races that it's not cool to be. So Asian and Indian and Arab isn't necessarily like the cool race, especially back when I was younger.
To the outside people thinking. Yeah.
So like when you kind of grew, so I had a lot of obviously like terrorist jokes made towards me, things like that growing up. And it was around the time of like 9/11 and the London bombing. So it wasn't the best time to be Arab.
Understandably.
Yeah. And so then when that kind of happened and then I came out and I was dating guys, the narrative was just turning on Arabs at that point. And it started being, oh, Dubai, oh, rich Arabs, oh, they're good looking. So then it was like a fetish for gay guys to get with someone who looked Arab, who was hairy, who had money. Like that's the kind of vibe that people thought of Arabs at that point.
Yeah.
And so I never saw it as fetish because it was almost complimentary from all the years of not being complimentary and being like a terrorist. So now it's like, oh, okay, like they like me because I'm Arab. That's kind of nice. And it's only afterwards, looking back, I'm like, well, actually, that's probably
Fetish.
fetish. Yeah.
And do you know what the worst thing is? That I think a lot of the time these guys take advantage of that vulnerability. I find that like, because I've had so many guys that have said to me that their preference, their type is mixed race men. But like, I'm like, what's the reason? Like, oh, you just look good. I'm thinking, right, okay, do you know what? Fair enough, because we need to have physical attraction, but like, there's more to me than that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I just think like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's not enough. It's not enough to stick to. It's not enough to work with. Like you need initial attraction.
Yeah.
But like, it's been like, I've had it before, like guys have said to me, oh, can I take you out? I'm like, you haven't even like asked what my name is. What do I do? I could be crazy.
Yeah.
I could be
And
like,
I am.
I have no shame. But I could be like ready to like, you know, obviously I'm not. But like, you don't know that.
Yeah.
You just looked at me from, he's tasty.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
fair. Like we've got eyes. Like,
Yeah.
Do I give, right question, do I give tall man energy? No, small, well, quite clearly I don't. Do I give small man energy?
I think it might just be like the camera angles on your stuff
Yeah.
is more tighter.
Okay, fair.
So like it's more zoomed
so.
in, so you can't tell as much. So I just assumed you'd be like average height.
Yeah.
Like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, not small. Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe also because you have like quite a like young, cute face. As
Yeah.
Well, so it might be like just all of it together.
Exactly.
Kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, cute.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
This
for
was really
coming.
fun. Thank you for having me.
for
And thank you
joining.
for sharing as well. Really appreciate it because I know sometimes it's hard to share like personal experiences.
You guys are very good at like creating a safe space.
That's good.
I would say so. I've spoken to a lot of people, and this is one of the more comfortable ones.
Oh,
that's
that's
good.
so
I'm glad.
nice.
You guys are very good at your job. I appreciate you.
I appreciate
do not-
you.
Stop it. And do not just remember me when you're like obviously like super famous and you're like so busy and got
You'll be coming to all the events with
so
us.
many emails. Wow. Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everyone. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much. Please make sure you follow and subscribe and see our past and future episodes. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed it and see you next Monday. Bye.